first of all, let me tell you, I do a lot of things, but reviewing a book in front of audience is something which I'm not used to. And thanks to Mohit for dragging me here. The book which I'll be reviewing today is Palace of Illusions. So this book, why I chose this book is while I was watching Mahabharata, a lot of times being the feminist I was, I always thought in whatever scenes, what is Gandhari thinking? What must Draupadi be thinking? Or what must Kunti be thinking? So while I started reading this book gave a very fresh perspective. This book has been told by Draupadi, so it gives us a female's perspective of Mahabharata, which is not what we've been used to. We have always been used to thinking that probably Draupadi spoke too much. Probably she shouldn't have made fun of Duryodhan. And that is why she landed in all this trouble. But this book doesn't say anything about this. It tells us the why behind it. The second thing which I liked about this book is the portrayal of Draupadi. The portrayal of Draupadi has been done in a very wonderful manner. She has been told as a very strong and independent woman who wants to live life on her own terms. She speaks her mind and stands by it. What struck me while reading this book was how even after 3000 years, the battles and the dilemma which she faced in those days is relevant even today to the women like us. So, not only the beautiful narrative and the beautiful storytelling which this book has, what got glued me to the book is one sentence which Draupadi says to her brother, which is breaking the stereotype of how people are stereotyping women in those days. So just to quote Draupadi, she says to her brother, and who decided that a woman's highest purpose was to support men? A man, I would wager. Myself, I plan on doing other things with my life. Exactly my thoughts I felt, and moved on with the book. I listed down few of the points which I feel are similar to the battles faced by Draupadi as female and the battles that which we are facing today. The first point is discrimination towards a female child. Even though Draupadi was born out of the same fire of which her brother was born, but her father discriminated against her. The way he lifted her in her arms, she could feel that she was the unwanted one, because the yagya which was done was only for a son. The father did not want a daughter, but she came along and he had to abide by it. That shows even a princess could not come out of the fate which was given to her of discrimination against a female child. Even today, we are facing the same discrimination, wherein we have to run Save a Girl Child campaigns, and the girls are brought up as Paraya Dhan, which have to go to other household. The next point which is brought out in this book is fixation of society with fair complexion. Draupadi was a princess and she had her own charm, but even then she was discriminated and she felt like an ugly duckling because she was dark complexion. She felt that somewhere she cannot live up to the standards of being a princess because she is dark in color. And she wasted her time scrubbing herself with different kinds of creams and uptons so that she can become fair. Even today, when we draw a parallel to today's society, we see that a father becomes worried the moment his daughter is dark. He starts thinking about finding a suitable match for her. The next point which the book brings out is whether these arranged marriages today are really marriages or an alliance. Draupadi was very happy to know that her father has arranged for a swayamvar for her. She was very happy. But then when she gets into deeper details, she gets to know that it is not actually a swayamvar, but it is an alliance. Her father has arranged, it is a skill test wherein only Arjun can pass that test because her father wanted Arjun on his side in the sight of an impending war. So Draupadi's exact feelings, I will read out with an excerpt from the book. Why even call it a Swayamvara then? I cried. Why make a spectacle of me before all the kings? It's my father, not I who gets to decide whom I marry. My mouth filled with ashes. How foolish I had been, dreaming of love when I was nothing but a worm dangled at the end of a fishing pole. Isn't it happening today and always in the name of caste, family honor, politics, business, and what not? Marriage has always been an alliance, and more often than not, the girl has no choice in these matters. The next point which we talk about is objectification of women. It was cruel, but it was glorified. Draupadi was forced to marry 5 men without even anyone bothering to understand what she wanted in her life. The person she married, Arjuna, and she hoped of loving him, did not even stand up for her in her time of crisis. She was devastated to hear that her father and brother all were only worried about what will happen to them if somebody comes to know that the daughter is married to 5 men. In the words of Draupadi, I was distressed by the coldness with which my father and my potential husband discussed my options, thinking of only how these acts would benefit or harm them. Why did not Arjun speak for me? Even today, women are expected to do and behave as they are told by their fathers and their brothers. They stay in abusive relationships, sometimes even die, but they do not want to come back to their house to save the family honor. The next point which the book makes is the obsession with virginity of females. Now that Draupadi was married to 5 men, as per the directives given by Vyasa and her mother-in-law, Vyasa gave her a boon to come out of it, that in the arrangement of marriage wherein she was to go to every brother for a year, he gave her a boon that every time she went to her new husband, her virginity would be restored. But was that really something given as a boon to Draupadi, or was it a boon to her husbands? In words of Draupadi, nor was I particularly delighted with the virginity boon, which seemed designed more for my husband's benefit than mine. If the sage had cared to inquire, I'd have requested the gift of forgetting, so that when I went to each brother, I'd be free of the memory of the previous one. She feels that this boon which was given to her was not a boon at all, but it was to satisfy the male ego of her husbands. Even today, it is expected by men that the wives they are marrying should be virgin. They can be in as many relationships as they want before their marriage, but for their wives, it's a huge taboo. The next point which the books make is about the male ownership. Even though Yudhishthir lost himself in the wager with the Kauravas, but still he went ahead and pawned Draupadi. Only Draupadi had dared to ask how a man who had lost everything, even himself, can still be the master of a woman and pawn her. Sadly, society still perceives today wife as a property of husband. So many of times I come across women, and that is more dangerous, women who themselves think that their husbands are their owners. And why I have put this picture over here is because, you know, a lot of times as an image consultant, when I tell people that they have to, a short hair would look better on them, they say that they will go back, they will ask their husbands, take permission and then come back because they would not like it. And last but not the least, the perception that a woman deserves it. Draupadi's self-esteem was compared to her arrogance. She dared to be different, dared to speak her mind, and therefore it is thought that the war which was brought onto the country, or her embarrassment or sexual harassment which she faced, she brought onto her because she spoke too much or because she laughed at Duryodhan. Even today, aren't we facing the same in this society? Women are being harassed for speaking their mind, for being who they are, or for dressing the way they want to dress. So I would like to leave this thought by a call to action. Let us change if we can.